So I'm over here on Thursday morning, a beautiful Thursday morning with Amy Tripp, and she lives on Belknap Road in Carriage. It's a great little estate with 3.5 acres. I think you said house goes back to 1785, and at some point, when did Kevin buy it? You and Kevin?
Yeah, we bought it about 13 years ago, and it was definitely needed some repairs. And as you may or may not know, my husband is a contractor, and he works very hard on this to keep it nice, and has done a lot of work on it.
Oh, so. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yep. And but he's not cutting the grass anymore. How much grass is there to cut?
I would say about 1.5 acres. It goes into the woods over there, and has a nice lawn space out here, and plenty of space for Yaya to run around. And with this quarantine, we thinking we might put up badminton or volleyball for family gatherings, and we're trying to find things to do all spring. It was Yaya and myself here, and so
I think on Saturday or Sunday we saw you, the three of you, Kevin and Yaya and you, biking. Do you start from here?
Yeah, we've done that a few times. Once.
What about the hill?
Yeah, one silver lining to this spring was that Yaya learned to ride a bike as a 7-year-old, and she'd never done that. So
wow,
that was really exciting for us, and gives us freedom to do some more of those sort of things. Yeah, so we bike from here down Belknap Mountain Road, past the Anderson's house on the corner, and all the way down, and then we stop as many times as she needs to. She's never walked her bike, but
Wow.
we kind of find. I'm a phys ed teacher, so I kind of give her sort of goals. Okay, second mailbox, you can make it there, and sometimes she goes past it. So
you teach phys ed in the Gilford school system. What grades?
Gilford High School, ninth grade through 12th grade.
That was in high school. That was my secret ambition, to be a PE teacher. Phys ed was always my favorite class.
It's a fun calling, and I came out of being a personal trainer and a massage therapist, and there was a wonderful superintendent of the Gilford schools that was a member at Laconia Athletic and Swim Club where I used to work, and he said, you'd be great as a teacher in the schools. I have a phys ed degree, but I grew up in New Zealand, and it was more like a exercise science degree that you would have here, so I had to get my teaching credential, and ended up just being in the right place at the right time. And
what superintendent was that?
Paul Domenico.
Okay, Paul Domenico.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Yep.
And so how did you get here from New Zealand?
Yeah, so I was born in the United States. We moved to New Zealand when I was 11.
So you were born where?
In Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no ties to Ohio, but my parents were at Ohio University, and so that's how we were in Ohio. And so we all went to New Zealand. It was my dad's dream. He's a hippie from the 70s, and it was early 80s when the nuclear stuff was big, and they're environmentally friendly and nuclear free, and really he thought it'd be a great safe place to bring up his children, and my mom agreed, and we sold, and we were living in Oregon at the time, so I've moved around a lot in my life. He's a bit of a wanderer, died 4 years ago. So we went to New Zealand, and then my parents ended up getting divorced when I was 16, and my mom had a best friend in this area in Hill, New Hampshire, and she got a job in Gilford, actually, in the school system she's a speech pathologist. And when I finished my university, I went to 1 year elementary school and middle school and high school and university in New Zealand. When I finished, I decided I would come and live and be by my mom for a while.
Ah, and does your mom still live in the area?
Yes, she does. Lives in Laconia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And we couldn't get together earlier. We were meeting at about 11 o'clock today. What were you doing this morning?
So I already had a meeting down at the Lake Winnipesaukee Sailor Association. It's on Davis Road. I'm the executive director of a children's camp that we run from a property there, and that's my summer job. And we have decided that we can open safely. We went through all of the 2.0 protocols and decreased class size, and today what I was doing is mixing bleach and water and deciding how we're going to sanitize surfaces and sails and lines and all of the things that we need. We had a hand washing station put in. Hayden McLaughlin and Pete Nelson put in a hand washing station with foot pumps, and so we can be really very safe with the COVID, but offer an opportunity for our children to get out on the water. So that's exciting.
And how many kids participate?
Normally we have 35 to 40 in a week, but we knew we couldn't do that with the guidelines, so we decrease it to class sizes no more than 6, but anywhere from 2 to 6. And having played, most class sizes will be about 4 children to 1 instructor.
And when does it start?
Starts on Monday.
Monday. And are the classes all filled?
Not yet. No, there is space available. The only thing is this year you have to have already participated in the program and be at a level 2 or a level 3 to omit close contact, because when you're a beginner, it obviously takes a lot more of an instructor to be close to you. So that was the kind of only balancing point. So our beginners and level 1s can't participate this year.
Okay. And are you a sailor yourself?
I'm not. No.
How did you get involved?
Yeah.
So at this point in the video, Amy and I had been having a conversation for about 5 minutes, and things were going well, and I made a rookie mistake. I'm still learning, so this is a mistake only a novice video maker would make. I forgot to hit do not disturb, and so the phone rang. I hit decline immediately, and we continued to have a really, really wonderful conversation for about 20 more minutes. Problem was, it wasn't recording. And when I realized that, I apologized to Amy and I said, let's see if we can pick up the conversation, so we'll start about where we were. Thanks for your patience. Pastor Rookie Graham. Over and out.
So I grew up in New Zealand, and water all around me, but we couldn't afford to have a boat or anything off the coast of New Zealand. It's very, very expensive. But I worked with Anthony Sparazzo at Gilford High School, and he was actually the director for 10 years. And I talked to him about it, but it was really Jill and Guy Nickerson who are part of LWSA board, and I teach with Jill at Gilford High School. And so she said, "Oh, you'd be great for this." And I said, I don't know how to sail. And she said, "Well, just give it some thought." And so I kind of fell into it, and I can manage people, and I can talk to parents, and I can help instructors be better teachers and learn software programs. And here I am going into my 5th season at the sailing school.
That's great. I'm not much of a lake person. I like the lake. We like to lie out and read books, but I'm a little leery of the water. But that's wonderful. So you got some good neighbors, the Gingricks?
Yes, the Gingricks, yep. And we have Klaus and Peggy Butinger, and the Ginters next to us, and the Southworths up on the hill. So yeah, it's really nice area, and we're happy, definitely happy here on this property. Kevin did a lot of work to maintain it, but it's certainly a really nice place to live, and Yaya spread her things throughout the whole house as children do.
And speaking of Kevin, he did some work at our house in Gunstock Acres, and I know that over the years he's had a few little mishaps. Tell me, how is Kevin doing now?
Yeah, thanks for asking. Yeah, he's doing really well. In fact, it was 2010, we call it the big accident, and he actually fell off the roof of the pool at Laconia Athletic and Swim Club. I was working there at the time, and it was a freak accident in the middle of February, and I'm thankful to the Gilford Community Church for opening their doors to a spaghetti fundraiser that was organized by a few people in the community, not even necessarily church members. And to be honest with you, I think it saved our house and our property, because he was out of work for 4 or 5 months. And he still has a sort of some range of motion, but doesn't stop him. He works very hard, and he just turned 61 in April, and he's still working in construction and doing renovations and smaller jobs. Doesn't have a crew anymore, but it keeps his mind smart and his body strong, and he's sore like any other 61-year-old, but he's really doing well. So I am appreciative for that. I think it's one of those things that you just have to keep yourself going. And when you have a 7-year-old and you're 51 and I'm 51 and he's 61, we have to stay strong.
And I don't think I've ever seen Kevin when he wasn't smiling. He just always seems to, really go with the flow.
Yeah, that is one thing I really do love about him, is that he's very even-tempered and doesn't get, oh, there he is right there, doesn't get too upset about very much. And if you can go home every day to someone that's pretty even keel, that's a pretty good life.
Yep. So while we were having this conversation, I got a phone call, and I declined to take it. But we continued our conversation without me realizing that we weren't recording. So I don't think we have already discussed this in the part that's actually recorded. But I know you're the volleyball coach.
Yes, I coach at Gilford High School, and I've been coaching since 1994. Actually, I moved here in '93, and I immediately started coaching middle school with Duke Klein and the crew back then. And many of you know the Anthonys. Sarah Anthony was an 8th grader when I came, and was really special. She's a special woman in my life,
I love her.
Yeah, and she was part of that first 1995 championship. Since then, we've gone on to win 17 championships with the program, and I started coaching high school in '94, and then recently Joan Forge went to Plymouth State University to coach there, and is still a mentor to me to this day. But I took on the varsity coaching position, and so I've been in that position for 2 years.
And in both of the years you were the head coach, you have won the state championship.
Yeah, we have been fortunate enough to have the just amazing players that it's really exciting, because it's total buy-in, it's traditions, it's the love of volleyball, it's the love of each other, and Joan's helped me to foster that, and then I've carried on a lot of those traditions, and it's a deep, long-standing program. I just had a Google Meet a couple of days ago with 15 or 16 people, and I sent out a summer conditioning program for them, and we're going to meet once a week down at the field. We just had a coaches meeting, and we can start doing the conditioning piece with good social distancing and so on. So the girls are really excited about that, because unless they had phys ed, which is obviously what I do in the school year, or they had some kind of a program that they followed, they really haven't been too active. And so people I think are excited to get moving and get going and have something to look forward to. And I really do hope that we have a season in the fall. But I said to them, be in the moment. That was our team motto last year, and it really helped us to win a championship, because you don't want to think about the end of the game. You want to think about each little play, each point, each set as we go along. So be in the moment with this summer and get in the best shape that you can be, and then no matter what happens in the fall, at least we'll be in really good shape.
As a person who didn't ever really play volleyball very seriously, maybe at picnics and things like that, and probably as an ignorant high school male, I don't think I recognize how athletic and how demanding and how talented both the women and men volleyball players are at the high school and college and professional level. I mean, they're as talented as any athletes. Yeah,
it's definitely a sport where you need all kinds of to be in a great physical condition, upper body, lower body, core, cardio, agility, mobility, flexibility, all of those things. And what I love about volleyball is that it's very team orientated, and that you can't just dribble down the court and shoot a hoop like you can in basketball. You have to pass it and set it and hit it. So it takes many members to make it efficient and effective and increase your performance. But on your note of backyard volleyball, I love that too, because anyone can play volleyball. Sure. You can play at the beach, you can play in your backyard, low level, it doesn't matter what your skills are like, and then you can play higher level in high school, college, beach volleyball professionally. Really, really fun sport. And I started playing when I was 13, played through high school and college, and then was fortunate enough to play for the New Zealand volleyball team, and traveled all over Asia into Europe, and it's given me so much in my life, and it's exciting for me to give back to the sport through coaching.
That's great. And any other plans this summer?
Working at the sailing school, and working with the volleyball girls. I really don't have much. Of course, we're in quarantine, and so that kind of limits us. But we love to go to Gilford Beach. In fact, we're going this afternoon, picking up my mom and going over there and just spending a little time. I don't want it to sound like I work all the time. I do have a wonderful life with Yaya, when we spend a lot of good time. And so we do have some downtime. We like to hike Belknap Mountain and Gunstock with our friends. That's a highlight on the weekends. Yeah, so.
And I think you might be doing something with the Rosses shortly.
Yeah, actually, one of the ways or reasons that I got interested in Gilford Community Church was, I don't know if we had talked about that in the first part. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah, is because of our good friends Sue and Eston, and I met them before Jesse was born, and I think Abby was maybe in utero, and Kathy and Herman Defrig are also really good friends of ours. And
so you met them almost immediately.
Yeah, well, Jesse just turned 25, so 26 years ago.
Yeah.
So, and then I always went to church as a child. My mom's a really pretty active member at the Methodist Church, and my dad, nature is his church, so got a couple of good messages as a young person, and then was able to figure it out for myself. And I wanted a community where we could raise our daughter with the knowledge of God and Jesus, and then to be able to empower her to make her own choices as she got older and she got to be a teenager and young adult. And I love the Gilford Community Church, and I love that sometimes I make it and sometimes I know I don't, but it's still a loving community that's open to everyone, and that's really important to me and my family.
I love what you said, because sometimes I hear parents say, well, I don't want to take my children to church because I want them to make up their own mind. And of course we want our children to make up our own mind, but if our children don't want to take a bath or don't want to eat vegetables, we still feed them vegetables, and we ask them to take a bath. And giving them a foundation and then allowing them the freedom to say this works or it doesn't work, I think is a very responsible approach to faith parenting.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like it was a big part of it. Church and that community was a big part of my life as I grew up, and I needed a higher power, both to be able to talk to and for the accountability piece that was different than my parents, and so it was very meaningful in my life. Unfortunately, my husband grew up, I don't want to say unfortunately, he grew up with a not a great background in religion. He grew up very in Catholicism, and he was subject to nuns that were not kind as an elementary school child, and so he believes in community, and we've talked, when you adopt a child you have to go through it all: finances, religion, discipline. I mean, they make you do it all, and I think that was a good process for us, and so we're on the same page with that. He just doesn't have the same positive experiences I had.
Yeah, I mentioned this in the sermon on Sunday, but I had a conversation with a lady who said one of the things she loves about the church is that she doesn't have to believe anything. And she made that point 3 or 4 times, and finally I said, Phyllis, you believe a lot of things. You believe in the power of love. You believe that treating people with respect and dignity is how you should live your life. You believe that what you do is more important than what you say. You believe in taking care of the environment. You believe that our view of the world should be influenced by science. So whether you come to church or not, you can still have incredible, important beliefs that help you live with meaning and purpose.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, so that's great. Well, and the last, I know you're going to take a little vacation with the Rosses. So what's going to happen?
We've booked a house in Jackson, New Hampshire, and it's by a river, and it has an in-ground pool, which I was excited about. But we're going to take our bicycles, and we're going to hike and bike and have an active vacation, but also relax. I do know how to relax too, and I never get a chance to read books, and I'm just looking forward to laying in a chair by the pool or wherever, and reading a book, or going for a walk with family and good friends. So,
do you have any books in mind?
My mom gave me a book called I'm not sure if it was my mom, but somebody gave me a book called The Leavers, and I just started that. And then I also, Joan Forge recommended that I read a book called The Energy Bus. And so I'm excited I asked the library for it, so they're going to see if they can get it for me.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate so much not only the time this morning, but all that you bring to our community and the Gilford Community Church. And and wish you and Kevin and Yao Yao nothing but the best. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you.